Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of my Pokemon anime review series. Today we are going to be talking about Season 1, Episode 3, and spoiler alert, Ash catches a Pokemon, the tutorial of how to catch a Pokemon in an episode. This episode marks the first and one of the only episodes where the main character catches more than one Pokemon in an episode. This doesn't occur again until 1088 episodes later. The Who's That Pokemon of the episode is Caterpie, a Pokemon that resembles a green caterpillar with yellow ring-shaped markings down the side of its body, which resembles its eyes and are meant to scare off predators. Its bright red antenna release a stench to repel predators, though it is still often snatched up by flying-type Pokemon. Caterpie is one of the easiest Pokemon to capture, and it progresses quickly to its final evolution, making it ideal for new trainers. Throughout its life, it will shed its skin many times and will eventually encase itself in a cocoon made up of its own thick silk. This silk can also be used to entangle its foes in the wild or in battle. It lives in temperate forests and jungles and feeds on hundreds of leaves per day. Its Pokemon Red Pokedex entry reads, its short feet are tipped with suction pads that enable it to tirelessly climb slopes and walls. A fun fact about Caterpie is that it is impossible to complete a solo playthrough of Generation 1 games using only a Caterpie, as its only attack is Tackle, which is a normal type, and it can't hit ghost Pokemon. Moving into the episode, we are still waiting with bated breath as Ash moves into his iconic I'm gonna catch or throw this Pokeball pose. He ends up catching Caterpie in the most dramatic way possible, and Ash is so overjoyed that he can't repress his excitement, to the point that it just bursts out of him. It honestly brings me a lot of joy watching this. I think Ash didn't get the flying start that he wished for, but I think this is a really great step forward in his Pokemon journey, and something that he kind of expected to happen. The title of the episode is presented, and Misty's actually the one who announces it, which I'm curious if it's a rare occasion that it isn't Ash who announces the title of the episode. We'll have to keep an eye out for that. While Ash and Pikachu are excited, Misty can't even stand to be close to the Pokeball that Caterpie is in. When Ash lets Caterpie out to spend some time with him, Misty runs at light speed for the nearest tree, to which Caterpie follows. Caterpie is pretty dang cute, so it's pretty sad to see Misty react so negatively towards him when he's just trying to be friendly. We then get one of the sickest burns in all of Pokemon.
It's so gross! Ash, put that slimy thing back in the Pokeball! Bugs are one of the 3 most disgusting things in the world!
Aside from you, what are the other disgusting things?
Put this savage, spit-slinging thug in jail. No hesitation, my man Ash is on it. Misty then gives her list of the top 3 most disgusting things: carrots, peppers, and bugs, using a giant wooden mallet to knock Caterpie into the sky, which I don't know why she's carrying that thing around. Ash has had enough. If Misty can't accept Caterpie, then they will go on without her. This actually does affect Misty, though she would be the last to admit it. I think she does have a connection to Ash, and she doesn't want to lose that. When we first saw her, she was all on her own, fishing away. She probably only started her journey maybe a month ago, and now she has someone who cares about Pokemon as much as she does. Traveling alone isn't very fun, and I think her saying that she's only following Ash because he owes her a bike, I think it's just a cover-up for the friendship she wants to have with Ash. I mean, they're both 10, so they don't exactly have a strong hold on their emotions, but I think that's what she's trying to say deep down. Well, they camp for the night, sleeping on different sides of a stump. We then get a little scene between Caterpie and Pikachu where they are communicating with each other. While they don't exactly know what they're talking about, they seem to be having a good time, and I would say it also gives them a bit of a soul. Makes us love and care about them as much as Ash does. We wake up to a scream, and Caterpie is sleeping right in front of Misty, and she is not having it. Ash hops up, still in a sleeping bag, and hears Misty yelling and screaming at Caterpie, who ends up going back inside its Pokeball, while Ash hilariously slithers along the grass in a sleeping bag. While Ash demands she apologize to him, they get distracted by a Pidgeotto who lands nearby. Ash jumps up excitedly, logs the Pidgeotto in his Pokedex, and then throws that Pokeball with failure. Pidgeotto smacks it away, and Misty comes in with all the knowledge in the world about catching Pokemon, and I'm with Ash. Her tone and how she explains it isn't very helpful, and it leads Ash to telling her to keep her big mouth shut, which also is an amazing freeze frame with his mouth and eyes expanding. So while Misty wasn't being the most helpful, Ash still isn't the smartest at this point, as he sends out his Caterpie to face off against Pidgeotto. Caterpie tries his best, but he's returned before Pidgeotto can take him out. But one Thundershock later, and Pidgeotto is captured, though this time the excitement isn't really there, as Ash's decision to send out Caterpie was pretty reckless, and Misty makes sure he knows that. Ash's schooling by Misty is interrupted, though, by the infamous Team Rocket just simply walking up with a very bright light behind them, carrying their own giant R and pyrotechnics. Ash simply tells them that they're a little busy at the moment, which I find hilarious. Jesse and James spill their whole plan of wanting to steal Pikachu, to which Meowth attacks them, saying to stop telling them about their whole plan. But then Meowth tells them why they want the Pikachu, and Jesse and James get their revenge on him by beating him up. Not the most cohesive team, but at least they're pretty funny, and I feel like this is kind of the journey to becoming the Jesse, James, and Meowth that we know. Pikachu is then attacked by a coughing sludge attack, which blinds him, so he's out of the game. So Pidgeotto is sent out, and while right out of the gate, Pidgeotto and Ash seem to really communicate very well with one another, 2 Pokemon against 1 does get the best of Pidgeotto, and he's taken out. Ash then runs at Jesse and James, and gotta say, James putting his hand on Ash's head so he can't reach him when he tries to punch him is a really funny scene. He gets flicked away by one of the strongest finger flicks ever, and then sends out a very roughed up Caterpie, to which Team Rocket just laugh. What we see next is the most overpowered move in the anime compared to the game in String Shot. I mean, Caterpie just goes at it, completely encasing Coughing and Ekans in his silk. After tackling them out of the forest, Caterpie String Shots Meowth, and Team Rocket blasts off for what I would say is their official first time, as they actually use the phrase, "It's time Team Rocket blasted off." Now, in terms of Team Rocket's plan, this is definitely not the best. I mean, walking up and just expecting to win in a Pokemon battle just isn't their MO. Plus, the last time they encountered Pikachu, they got electrocuted until Coughing exploded, so not sure why they thought this time would be any different. I will give them props for sludging Pikachu's eyes, though, to take him out of the game, so maybe they were just hanging on that hope. Maybe next time will be better. We then get to witness the first Pokemon evolution in the series, and I think this was a great choice to have it be Caterpie. Lots of Pokemon simply glow and then morph into their next form, but Caterpie actually encases itself in its own silk and becomes a metapod, something that very similarly happens in the real world. It's a great way to connect the real world into the Pokemon world, and it is our time to return back to the real world, unfortunately, as this episode comes to a close with them running out of the forest as Misty screams about all the disgusting bugs. Hope to see you in the next episode, where I will be reviewing Season 1, Episode 4, entitled Challenge of the Samurai. I'll see you then, and I hope you have a wonderful day.